everybody. Welcome to the Strip City Report, Charleston's finest podcast about entertainment, living, and leisure. And today I'm joined with DJ. How are you doing?
Feeling magical today.
Oh, yeah? Because that cold you
Yeah,
have.
yeah,
Well,
absolutely fighting through.
right on. Well, we're super stoked about today's episode where we have someone that is not from Charleston proper, doesn't, but are Charleston adjacent. As part of our series, we're going to be checking out the Grandstrand over the next few months and getting to know our neighbors just a tiny bit up north at the beach. Today we have Charles Bach from Wonders Theater. How are you doing, Charles?
I'm doing great. Thanks for having me on the podcast.
It's a pleasure. You're in the busy world of entertainment. So is it as busy as we think it is?
It really is. There's a lot of elements always happening. It's more than just doing a show, for sure.
Yeah, and you're more than just the entertainer, I presume. We can get into those kind of details as far as how it's like running all that and how you like Myrtle and everything. But Charles, where are you from?
I'm originally from St. Louis. I grew up right in the Midwest.
Uh-huh. So did you stay there for long, like going to school and everything?
I grew up there, and then obviously magic and performing took me other places, and I spent time in New York and cruise ships, Las Vegas, all these other places before I finally found a place to settle down in Myrtle Beach.
So, when did the magic fascination hit? Was it always like something you were, even as a kid, interested in, or?
And I would say most people get some experience as a kid with magic and kind of get excited about it, and then they, put it away. But I started at 8 years old. My uncle did a card trick for me, and that was all I needed to see. I got really excited about magic, and that's all I wanted for my birthday, for Christmas, was more magic stuff. And I started doing shows, and then it just kind of evolved from there.
So if you were intrigued by that, there was somewhere in St. Louis that you could go get magic stuff?
Absolutely. So there was a magic store called DeVoe's Magic Den. It was a guy named Gene DeVoe, and he was quite famous in magic too. But that was a little like brick shop, very old and dusty, kind of like Harry Potter-ish,
Yeah.
with all these items on the shelves that were really intriguing. And every time I went there, he would introduce me to something new or show me something. He actually wrote my first magic show for me. All the little tricks that I had, he said, this is the order you should do them in. And that was my first show.
Wow, I never thought about because it's like any other show or like theater performance. You need to have almost a set list, and how the set list is like staged or performed is like a big thing, isn't it?
Absolutely. It's like a singer is going to start with a certain song, close with a certain song, and
Yeah.
you got the waves of everything and how it works.
I think that was pretty awesome that he helped you out with those early shows, because him taking the time to do that sounds like he's a pretty decent human being and trying to keep the craft going.
Absolutely. I think he inspired a lot of young magicians. St. Louis had a really popular magic club, a really successful magic club that a lot of big magicians came out of. DeVoe Magic Den actually had one of the demonstrators that did magic there was Chris Kenner, who is now the executive producer for David Copperfield.
Oh, wow.
And he met David because of St. Louis. David was coming to St. Louis to perform, and he did the baby shoe. I don't know if you remember seeing this on one of his specials, a baby shoe with a ring that appears on the laces. Well, that was Chris's trick.
Oh, cool.
And then sold it to David. They created a relationship, and then David asked him to come work for him.
Wow, that's pretty cool. That's quite a pedigree too, that everybody's kind of intertwined like that, and you have that kind of 6 degrees of separation. Besides the fact you said you started magic early, were there a few magicians that you were inspired by coming up?
Yes, absolutely. So obviously later on, David Copperfield was a pretty big inspiration. He theatrics and music and stories, and he was a good inspiration as well. But prior to him was a guy named Doug Henning, if you're familiar, a Canadian magician.
Yep.
And he was on Broadway, and he had like a Broadway style, and he toured as well. And I saw his show in St. Louis, and I just loved his style. His approach to magic was about audience experience and having fun. It wasn't like I'm serious and I'm really great and I'm amazing. It was about, let's have this fun experience together. And that really inspired the style that I continue today.
So you mentioned that you have been going on, or you've been touring for a while now. How long have you been on the act?
So I've been
Yeah,
doing it since I was 8, and
yeah,
I started small and then slowly evolved. And then we would build bigger things for the show with my dad, and
yeah.
eventually I'd find people that specialize in this kind of magic building, and then I would get the proper illusions, they call them
Hmm.
illusions, and started to expand the show. And I like the big stuff, I like the small stuff, I like all the different styles of magic, so I try to incorporate as much of that as I can.
That's pretty awesome that your dad helped you out. We're proponents of that kind of relationship in entertainment. It's,
Absolutely. Absolutely. I see it right in front of me.
yeah. So, okay, so your dad helped you. You started getting your chops. How confident were you going out and doing your first gig in front of people where maybe your pop wasn't around?
So they drove me to a lot of shows. I
Okay.
of course didn't have a car when I started doing it. And you learn business as well. You get a business card, you start calling people, you start scheduling your shows, you start doing birthday parties or Cub Scouts, things like that. I was doing lots of those. And then Christmas parties were quite busy. And then slowly I just sort of got more and more comfortable, and I'd find the things that people liked that I did, or I'd add new things, and just you kind of learn as you go. It's definitely an experience based learning.
Mhm.
You have to do it to find out. And it's like any other performing art, music, dance, anything.
Yeah, it sounds like well, at least you have some perseverance, obviously.
Yes. Yes. That is definitely, don't get discouraged when it doesn't work out. You just get back on the horse.
Yeah. So the Cub Scout stuff, the Christmas stuff, you already talked about intimacy with audience. Doug Henning famously, was an engager. When you started your magic growing into possibly bigger stages, bigger environments, did it feel kind of natural? Were you building up a little bit at a time, or did you just one day say, I want to rent a hall out?
Ah, that's great. So I really did. I loved all types of. So if you've been to the library, there's a section. It's 793.8 in the
Hmm.
Dewey Decimal System. If you go into any library, 793.8 are the magic books.
Hmm.
If you ever see
Oh,
a guy with a T-shirt that says 793.8, you know it's a magician, and it's a very geeky shirt to wear.
very cool. Thank you for that. Thank you.
But right next to the magic books, there's other things. There's juggling, there's puppetry, there's theater, there's dance, and all these other things are right on the shelf right next to each other. And before YouTube, we had the library. So I did spend a lot of time at the library and learning things through books.
Hmm.
That was our best resource. And I couldn't buy a stack of magic books, but I had, a decent amount at the library. And then every time I'd go to another library in another town, I'd do the same thing. 793.8 was my place to go. But I was into all of those things. I was into juggling, I was into puppets, I was into magic. So the Muppets were like a huge thing at
Yeah.
the time. And I went to see my sister dance in a dance recital. And then I said, I want to do that too. So I started taking dance lessons as
Cool.
well. And then all those things get part of the show.
Yeah, that's a great point. At what point, going to these big stages, did you have to, I guess, start focusing in on what the big stages required, like almost like the theatrics, like the performance of it, and it's also you can't do like these small, like, well, I don't know, maybe you can, and I'm just
You
missing
can't
it.
now.
Yeah,
There's a
you
lot
can't
of
really do like these small, like small hand tricks when you're doing have such a giant crowd that's performing for you or that you're
yes.
performing for.
So at the time, now the close-up magic is more popular because it's
Hmm.
very easy to put on social media,
Hmm.
or you can put a camera and a screen on stage. But at the time, the bigger illusions like David Copperfield,
Right.
they were doing big stuff. So that was sort of the things that you were seeing and inspired by. So I did want to do bigger stages or bigger things. Probably the biggest thing I could do at the time was produce a rabbit, something like
Uh-huh.
that.
Yeah.
Couldn't do giant things. Later on, I would get one of the girls from dance school to assist me, and we'd produce her, cut her in half, and things like that.
Yeah, when you're doing a big show like that, and like I said, I've watched the videos. You're very aware of yourself on stage. Everybody moves really well. The flow is awesome. You can definitely tell that you have that kind of at least stage or theater background. DJ brought up a good point about how you can't really do sleight of hand so much anymore, or have that gaga moment of somebody just 2 feet away from you. But is there still? Do you have some audience participation at Wonder Theater?
Absolutely. So my show, one of the descriptions you'll see in our reviews is how interactive the show is.
Hmm.
We we do a lot of things that involve audience members and then even some magic that they participate in either through their phone or through their hands or things that happen to them while they're sitting in the seats.
It must be so amazing to actually see the response on people's faces when you do stuff like that. I mean, that's got to be fulfilling, you know.
Absolutely.
It's
Absolutely. That's one of the joys of doing it is you can see that instant reaction. If
mhm.
you did TV or TikTok videos or things like that, you don't get that reaction from the audience quite the same way.
So this might be a tough question. Do you prefer that one-on-one reaction or the crowd reaction as a whole? Like, which one is, I guess, more like, I guess, inspiring for you as a magician?
Well, that's a good question. I do like the shared experience of an audience.
Yeah,
I like creating this community. So even if people don't know each other, by the end we all feel like we're hanging out together. It
yeah.
has that kind of feel.
Well, speaking of Wonders Theater, let's talk a little bit about that. There's the own space at the famous Broadway at the Beach. Everyone that in at least everybody that listens to us knows what that is. How did that get going at Broadway at the Beach?
Well, I had spent many, many years performing on cruise ships.
Hmm.
And I finished Las Vegas, and then one of my friends said, "You want to go out on cruise ships?" And his dad booked me on the ships, and then for 20 years I did the cruise ships.
Hey everyone, we really want to encourage you to visit the refinery in Charleston, South Carolina. The refinery is a beautiful mixed use facility that's home to upscale office space, 2 restaurants, the Limbo Lounge, and an amphitheater that hosts national, regional, and local acts year round. We cannot recommend it enough. Go to the refinerychs.com to get event and venue information. You can also go to the site to learn how you can even book the spaces you want for your own event. So go check them out and thanks.
Hmm.
Really?
It was
Wow.
absolutely amazing. I got to see the world. I met my wife. We had our son, and then we spent 5 years in Hawaii performing on a cruise ship.
Wow, that's
Sounds
awesome.
horrible.
It was horrible. No, it was absolutely beautiful. And we called it the golden years because we were together as a family, spending all that.
Yeah, that is too cool.
It was just we'd go to the beach. I'd do a couple of shows a week, but we'd always be together, have breakfast and
Hmm.
all the meals. It was wonderful.
I
And
mean,
our
I have
son,
to.
go ahead, ask it.
No, sorry, I have to ask. At what point did they become a part of the act? Like, we're to the point where you pulling your
The
son
family.
out of the hat or anything like that? You know?
So he was in the show when he was old
Mhm.
enough to walk and we had a matching costume to what I wear. At
Awesome.
the very end, I would disappear and appear somewhere else, and then when the curtain goes down, it's him dressed like me,
Oh, that's amazing.
and the crowd goes crazy because he's adorable.
Yeah.
It was
Oh
great.
my goodness. So that's very cool with the cruise ships in Vegas. That's very impressive. The theater at Broadway at the Beach,
Yes.
we get
So
back
that
to that.
happened as a result of that. So
Okay.
we were in Hawaii for 5 years, and then I had to do 6 months without them. I was on my own because Benji started school. When he
Hmm.
started school, I was on my own, and it was not fun. I was miserable. So I
Mhm.
said, "We need to start looking for a place that we could be where we could perform and still be together." And I looked up and down the East Coast at all these different there's Ocean City, Maryland, there's
Mhm.
Destin, Florida, there's all these other locations up and down the East Coast, and the captain of the ship and I were having lunch, and he happens to be from Myrtle Beach.
Oh.
He said, "You should look at Myrtle Beach." I said, "Well, okay." And then I reached out to Broadway at the Beach, and they said, "Yeah, we would love to have you here. Come out for a meeting."
Mhm.
And they really liked me and said, "We would love to have you here." And I said, "Okay." And the captain said, "You can stay in my condo because we have a house. You can stay in the condo to get things started, see how it goes." And this is my 6th year.
Awesome. So did they make everything like the transition, Broadway make the transition easy for like getting
They had a
like
space that was available, and
cool.
they said, "This would probably be a good space." And I agreed and worked out all the logistics, and I planned the entire thing from the cruise ship in Hawaii.
Wow, that's cool.
I had a whole wall of checklists of things to get done to prepare for it, but we did it. And in 9 days, we came from Hawaii to Myrtle Beach and opened the show.
That is unreal. And I know that must have been exciting, but also your stomach hurt for 9 days as well. Or
Absolutely. Did not sleep much. Yes.
was it hard to sell to your wife and your kid to finally get like settled in a little bit?
we were all pretty happy to find a place that we could be together.
That's
That
fantastic.
was the goal.
So the theater's been up for 6 years, you said.
6 years.
Broadway at the Beach is a great location. I'm sure I noticed, you're on your website, the online booking and everything, but just does foot traffic ever flesh out the crowd a little bit, or?
There's a lot of people that come to Broadway at the Beach. I think almost
Oh
everybody
yeah.
comes there at least once to do a day or a
Yep.
few hours to experience it. So people look for things that they can do at Broadway. Unfortunately, we are one of those options. So it's helpful.
Your main show is the Wonders Magic Show, right? That's kind of like
That's our
the
main
foundation
season show. And that one continues from March through the end of September. And then we change to Halloween. We have a Halloween themed. And then we change again to Christmas. So those last 3 months are quite busy for us.
Yeah, I bet the
I'm
Halloween
excited. I bet Christmas and Halloween are awesome.
I love Halloween.
Yeah.
It's scarier. It's a little bloodier. It's definitely a different flavor. So it's a lot of fun.
Yeah, I mean, that is the holiday that I think is made for magic. You can do all your spooky stuff. And I guess there's probably a lot of, big illusions and stuff that you can do on that. For that point, just now thinking about it, are there some illusions that you can do or you try to keep into every type of show? Like
anything you
DJ
say
was
for
talking
special
about.
events, yeah.
Yes, the set list has to deviate, right?
We do change. The Halloween show is a completely different show.
Oh, really?
Totally different. There's definitely more blood, gore, and scare, along with old magic, new magic, escapes and danger. And even there's ghosts flying up over the theater and over the heads of the audience, and some really cool old stuff that's kind of fun to experience.
Yeah, that reminds me of the old, I guess, what did they call them back in the old days when they had those 50s movies?
A spook show or a
spook
ghost
show.
show.
That's
we do exactly that. We recreate that with a little modern twist.
So you also have the Christmas. Notice that you have a hypnotism show that you do.
Yes. So my second year, I did want to
notice you could get
mix it up a little bit.
Birthday and dinner packages as well.
We do. We do have a lot of birthdays that come.
So you mentioned a dinner package as well?
Absolutely. So we do a dinner show package with Joe's Crab Shack.
Oh, awesome. Yeah.
Really good to our guests.
Man.
They make sure that they get out of the show. They're treated special.
But I got to ask about Magic at the Beach too, because I just
oh, okay.
I guess because it's the South Carolina Magic Convention, right? Is that what I understand? And is it actually at Myrtle Beach then too?
So we hold it at the theater, and it's about 125 magicians from around the world, and they come to Myrtle Beach for 3 days of lectures and sharing magic and performing and competitions. And we have some tickets that are available to the public, about 25 seats for the public, but the rest is all private magicians. So the people who've come from the public are like, wow, we get this inside track on what the magic business is like. And you'll see like 5 different performers in that show.
Yeah, that is awesome. Now, it's not like where if a magician reveals its secrets, y'all like excommunicate him, right? So is that like that's where you make all those decisions, right?
So we do share secrets. You'll share like new ideas or things with the other magicians, not in the public shows. The shows are really just performance.
Right.
But you'll see their best material in those shows.
That's amazing. As far as like management, are you also like the producer essentially for all the show? Do you like do all the set list and everything too?
So I don't do the structure for the shows, but when we bring in other shows, we do produce it in terms of the lighting and the technical, all the staging, the cameras, the video, all those elements that are brought together. We take care of that.
Has it been one of those things where you've had so much experience, you're essentially holding multiple hats now? Like you know what to look for lighting, and you know what to look for staging and all that presence too?
Absolutely true. Absolutely.
Yeah.
You know all the things, so it makes it faster and smoother process.
Do you partner with anybody in Myrtle Beach as far as, I guess, the cast or the participants? Do you ever get anybody out of Coastal to participate, help you out?
Absolutely. So our lighting guy that I work with, who I've been working with since the very beginning, is one of the professors at Coastal. And he and I have been collaborating literally since the beginning. So he'll come out each season of the show or each change of the show, and we together create the lighting. Yeah, and a costumer actually as well. There's a
Oh, cool. Yeah.
Eric Hall that has done a lot of costume and set stuff with us. Yeah, they're very talented, very, very talented people.
Okay, excellent. I'm glad to hear that, especially, using local resources like you're doing.
And I try to find dancers that are local as well because it makes it easier if they're from the area. That sometimes is a challenge. So I've brought people from New York, I've brought people from LA, different dancers from different places. But if I could find local, it's way better to, give them the opportunity.
Yeah, it must be more convenient, of course, and give them the opportunity. Speaking of opportunities, tickets. Do you
Yes,
have different tiered tickets, or is it just general across the board?
we do indeed. It is all reserved seating for my show. Some
Hmm.
of the shows it's sold by seating section or general admission, but for the magic show, it is reserved seats. So those seats belong to you when you
Okay.
purchase.
Mhm.
And usually people like to sit a little bit closer to the magic so you can either participate or really see how things work.
Oh, yeah.
The first 2 rows usually sell out. Those are premier seating, and it's about $5 more to sit in that spot. And then the regular seating is all behind that.
That is a good point because as a magician, you're the only one who can tell us this. How do you pick out a participant? Because I'm always like super nervous that I'll either get picked or that I won't get picked. And I'm always like, what's the best seating to be in? Up front, in the back, in the middle?
Well, nobody is safe.
Yeah.
I definitely pick people from all parts of the theater, including the back row. So
Yeah.
that really doesn't matter. But usually, people who are enthusiastic or smiling and enjoying themselves are great people to have on stage because that
Whoever's waving their hand the hardest.
they're going to definitely enjoy the experience on stage too. Yes.
Yeah.
The theater also has concessions and other amenities that you will find, especially on some of those hot Myrtle Beach summer days. I
Well,
assume the air conditioner is cranking there.
yes, that's one of the comments we get that we keep it a little bit chilly, but that's by design. It does get crazy hot outside, and on stage it's like an oven. So we try to keep it cool.
Okay. So let's talk about the Christmas event. Do y'all already doing the Christmas stuff right now?
Yes, we just opened. Our first show is on Saturday night, and then our season is off and running till January 3rd. But it's a big Christmas spectacular. Again, that's a different show than the main season or the Halloween. And we make it snow in the theater. We do magic with milk and cookies. We do magic with Santa Claus, and he appears in the show, and it's a lot of fun.
Oh, that's excellent. That's excellent. Well, Charles, we're going to probably wrap it up. If you can tell us a little bit about how to get in touch with you, website, social media, all that stuff, we'd appreciate it.
Well, absolutely. It's very easy to find us if you go to wonderstickets.com. That's wonders with an S, tickets with an S.com. You can see our website, all the shows, everything that's going on, watch some videos, and our socials are on there as well. So you can just click and pop into our social.
And I
Okay,
will say, if you're walking at Broadway at the beach, you can't miss the building either.
It's very colorful. Yes. Just like
Yeah.
Doug Henning.
Hey, is there still, I haven't been there in a while, is there still like a magic or a comedy shop or anything running out of Broadway?
There is. So we're very good friends, and together Dave Tanner has Broadway Magic, and we help produce the Magic Convention each year. So they're right across the water. It really is like a proper magic shop, and it's so much fun to go inside there and have somebody perform some magic for you and just see what's new, see some new tricks.
Yeah.
No, absolutely. I mean, talking about young magic experience, similar to what you were saying, I think that when I first went to Myrtle Beach, I was like 6 or 7. And one of the first things I bought while I was there was a couple of magic tricks from Broadway Magic way back when.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah.
Charles, we look forward to getting up there. We come to Myrtle about once a month, so we're going to try to catch your Christmas extravaganza.
Terrific.
Yeah, and we appreciate you spending time with us. And to everybody out there with the Low Country of South Carolina, the Low Country of South Carolina now includes all the way up into the Grandstrand officially.
Yeah.
In case that was ever a discussion. And we appreciate Charles coming by. Y'all get on to Wonders Theater and see all the shows. And everybody else, be good this week. Thanks, y'all.
Thanks, Devin. Thank you,
Thanks.
DJ.